Good afternoon, and welcome back to number 15 in our Read Through the Bible series. We're in Genesis chapter 26. Now there was famine in the land, besides the former famine that was in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went to Gerar, to Abimelech, king of the Philistines. And the Lord appeared to him and said, "Do not go down to Egypt. Dwell in the land of which I shall tell you. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with you and bless you. For to you and to your offspring I will give all these lands, and I will establish the oath that I swore to Abraham your father. I will multiply your offspring as the stars of heaven, and I will give to your offspring all these lands, and in your offspring all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. Because Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws." So Isaac settled in Gerar. When the men of the place asked him about his wife, he said, "She is my sister." Here we go again. Abraham did the same in Gerar, and now Isaac is saying it. This time it's not even half true. She's related, but not even as close as a cousin. So he said, "She is my sister," for he feared to say, "my wife," thinking lest the men of the place should kill me because of Rebekah, because she was attractive in appearance. When he had been there a long time, Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out of a window and saw Isaac laughing with Rebekah his wife. So Abimelech called Isaac and said, "Behold, she's your wife. How then could you say, 'She's my sister'?" Isaac said to him, "Because I thought lest I die because of her." Abimelech said, "What is this that you've done to us? One of the people might easily have lain with your wife, and you would have brought guilt upon us." You see, he probably had memories through perhaps his father of what happened with Abraham. And guilt was brought upon the former Abimelech. Abimelech is likely here to be the title of the ruler of the country. Anyway, verse 11. So Abimelech warned all the people, saying, "Whoever touches this man or his wife shall surely be put to death." And Isaac sowed in that land, and reaped in the same year 100-fold. The Lord blessed him, and the man became rich, and gained more and more, until he became very wealthy. He had possessions of flocks and herds and many servants, so that the Philistines envied him. Now the Philistines had stopped and filled with earth all the wells that his father's servants had dug in the days of Abraham his father. And Abimelech said to Isaac, "Go away from us, for you are much mightier than we." So Isaac departed from there, and encamped in the valley of Gerar, and settled there. And Isaac dug again the wells of water that had been dug in the days of Abraham his father, which the Philistines had stopped after the death of Abraham. And he gave them the names that his father had given them. But when Isaac's servants dug in the valley, and found there a well of spring water, the herdsmen of Gerar quarrelled with Isaac's herdsmen, saying, "The water is ours." So he called the name of the well Esek. Esek means contention, because they contended with him. Then he dug another well, and they quarrelled over that also. So he called its name Sitnah. Sitnah means enmity or hatred. And he moved from there and dug another well, and they did not quarrel over it. So he called its name Rehoboth, meaning broad places or room. There's room for me. Saying, "For now the Lord has made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land." From there he went up to Beersheba. Beer meaning well, Sheba, the well of seven, or the well of the oath. Beersheba, of course, was the well that his father had dug. And the Lord appeared to him the same night and said, "I am the God of Abraham your father. Fear not, for I am with you, and will bless you, and multiply your offspring for my servant Abraham's sake. So he built an altar there and called upon the name of the Lord, and pitched his tent there. And there Isaac's servants dug a well. When Abimelech went to him from Gerar, with Ahuzah his advisor, and Phicol, the commander of his army. Phicol is probably also a title, because Phicol existed in the days of Abraham as well. Phicol, the commander of his army, Isaac said to them, "Why have you come to me, seeing that you hate me and have sent me away from you?" They said, "We plainly see that the Lord has been with you." So we said, "Let there be a sworn pact between us, between you and us, and let us make a covenant with you, that you will do us no harm, just as we have not touched you, and have done to you nothing but good, and have sent you away in peace. You are now the blessed of the Lord." So he made them a feast, and they ate and drank. And in the morning they rose early and exchanged oaths. And Isaac sent them on their way, and they parted from him in peace. That same day Isaac's servants came and told him about the well that they had dug, and said to him, "We've found water." He called it Sheba. Therefore the name of the city is Beersheba to this day. Of course, there was the Beersheba in Abraham's time as well. When Esau was 40 years old, he took Judith, the daughter of Beeri the Hittite, to be his wife, and Basemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. And they made life bitter for Isaac and Rebekah. Chapter 27. When Isaac was old and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his older son, and said to him, "My son." And he answered, "Here I am." He said, "Behold, I am old. I do not know the day of my death. Now then, take your weapons, your quiver and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt game for me, and prepare for me delicious food, such as I love, and bring it to me so that I may eat, and that my soul may bless you before I die." There were two things the firstborn usually got, and that was the birthright, the double inheritance, and the blessing, the topmost blessing. Esau sold his birthright to Jacob, so he knew that wasn't going to be his. But he did so want the blessing. And here Isaac says to him, "Hunt me some food, make me some delicious food, such as I love, and bring it to me so that I may eat, that my soul may bless you before I die." This was the blessing. Now Rebekah was listening when Isaac spoke to his son Esau. So when Esau went to the field to hunt for game and bring it, Rebekah said to her son Jacob, "I heard your father speak to your brother Esau. Bring me game and prepare for me delicious food, that I may eat it and bless you before the Lord before I die. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice as I have commanded you. Go to the flock and bring me 2 good young goats, so that I may prepare from them delicious food for your father, such as he loves. And you shall bring it to your father to eat, so that he may bless you before he dies." But Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, "Behold, my brother Esau is a hairy man, and I'm a smooth man. Perhaps my father will feel me, and I shall seem to be mocking him, and bring a curse upon myself and not a blessing." His mother said to him, "Let your curse be on me, my son. Only obey my voice, and go and bring them to me." So he went and took them and brought them to his mother, and his mother prepared delicious food, such as his father loved. Then Rebekah took the best garments of Esau her older son, which were with her in the house, and put them on Jacob her younger son. And the skins of the young goats she put on his hands and on the smooth part of his neck. And she put the delicious food and the bread, which she had prepared, into the hand of her son Jacob. So he went in to his father and said, "My father." He said, "Here I am. Who are you, my son?" Jacob said to his father, "I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you told me. Now sit up and eat of my game, that your soul may bless me." But Isaac said to his son, "How is it that you have found it so quickly, my son?" He answered, "Because the Lord, your God, granted me success." Then Isaac said to Jacob, "Please come near, that I may feel you, my son, to know whether you are really my son Esau or not." So Jacob went near to Isaac his father, who felt him and said, "The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau." And he did not recognize him because his hands were hairy like his brother Esau's hands. Can you imagine the goat skin on Jacob's hands being similar to the hands of Esau? Esau certainly was a hairy man, that he got fooled by that. So he blessed him. He said, "Are you really my son Esau?" He said, "I am." Then he said, "Bring it near to me, that I may eat of my son's game and bless you." So he brought it near to him, and he ate. And he brought him wine, and he drank. Then his father Isaac said to him, "Come near and kiss me, my son." So he came near and kissed him. And Isaac smelled the smell of his garments, and blessed him, and said, "See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field that the Lord has blessed. May God give you of the dew of heaven, and of the fatness of the earth, and plenty of grain and wine. Let peoples serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be everyone who blesses you." Notice that Isaac imagines he's blessing Esau, but he's actually blessing Jacob here. Remember also when the two twins, Esau and Jacob, Esau being the firstborn of the twins, when they were struggling in Rebekah's womb, Rebekah asked the Lord, "What's this all about?" And the Lord said, "Two nations are struggling within you." And furthermore, the Lord said to her, the older shall serve the younger. Now, I can't imagine that Rebekah would not have passed that on to Isaac. But here, Isaac turns the thing around. He's still wanting Esau to be the one who is blessed in this way. Verse 29, "Be Lord over your brothers." Don't forget, Isaac is imagining this is Esau being Lord over Jacob. But it is actually as the Lord had told Rebekah, "The older shall serve the younger." So what Isaac is doing here is blessing Jacob, imagining he's blessing Esau, but he's actually fulfilling the promise that God had made to Rebekah when the twins were still in her womb. Verse 30. As soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, when Jacob had scarcely gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, Esau came in from his hunting. He also prepared delicious food and brought it to his father, and he said to his father, "Let my father arise and eat of his son's game, that you may bless me." His father Isaac said to him, "Who are you?" He answered, "I am your son, your firstborn, Esau." Then Isaac trembled very violently and said, "Who was it then that hunted game and brought it to me, and I ate it all before you came? And I have blessed him. Yes, and he shall be blessed." Isaac knew right there that the blessing he had given Jacob could not be retracted. He couldn't pull that blessing back. The blessing had been given, and that was that. As soon as Esau heard the words of his father, he cried out with an exceedingly great and bitter cry, and said to his father, "Bless me, even me also, O my father." But he said, "Your brother came deceitfully and has taken away your blessing." Esau said, "Is he not rightly named Jacob? For he has cheated me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he has taken away my blessing." Then he said, "Have you not reserved a blessing for me?" Isaac answered and said to Esau, "Behold, I have made him lord over you, and all his brothers I have given to him for servants, and with grain and wine I have sustained him. What then can I do for you, my son?" Esau said to his father, "Have you but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father." And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Now by now, Isaac is old. Esau has married, so he's well over 40. But here the blessing is so important to him, he's weeping. Then Isaac his father answered and said to him, Behold, away from the fatness of the earth shall your dwelling be, and away from the dew of heaven on high. By your sword you shall live, and you shall serve your brother. But when you grow restless, you shall break his yoke from your neck. So he gets a small blessing there, that he won't always serve Jacob. Now Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with which his father had blessed him. And Esau said to himself, The days of mourning for my father are approaching. Then I will kill my brother Jacob. But the words of Esau, her older son, were told to Rebekah. You might wonder, well, who would tell Rebekah that? But of course they had lots and lots of servants. Isaac was very rich, and no doubt Esau couldn't hold himself back in venting his feelings. So Esau's words were told to Rebekah. So she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said to him, Behold, your brother Esau comforts himself about you by planning to kill you. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice. Arise, flee to Laban my brother in Haran, and stay with him a while until your brother's fury turns away, until your brother's anger turns away from you, and he forgets what you have done to him. What you have done to him. That's a bit ironic, because it was his mother, it was Rebekah herself, that had talked him into it. Then I will send and bring you from there. Why should I be bereft of you both in one day? Then Rebekah said to Isaac, I loathe my life because of the Hittite women. You see, Esau had married 2 Hittite women, and they made the life of Rebekah and Isaac difficult. So she said, I loathe my life because of the Hittite women. If Jacob marries one of the Hittite women like these, one of the women of the land, what good will my life be to me? And we'll go on to the next chapter where Jacob is sent to his uncle Laban. But we'll move on from here to the book of Matthew. We're reading in Matthew chapter 15. Then the Pharisees and scribes came to Jesus from Jerusalem and said, Why do your disciples break the tradition of the elders? For they do not wash their hands when they eat. This was a ceremonial washing. It wasn't to do with cleanliness so much. It was just a ceremonial washing. He answered them, And why do you break the commandment of God for the sake of your tradition? For God commanded, Honour your father and your mother, and whoever reviles father or mother must surely die. But you say, if anyone tells his father or his mother, what you would have gained from me is given to God, he need not honour his father. So for the sake of your tradition, you have made void the word of God. You hypocrites! Well did Isaiah prophesy of you when he said, This people honours me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. In vain do they worship me, teaching as doctrines the commandments of men. See, they not only had the scriptures, but they had their books of traditions as well. And here was a tradition that said, if a man dedicates all that he has, in other words, when he dies, it all goes to the temple, or it all is given to God, he doesn't need to honour his father and his mother with that. Whereas the one of the 10 Commandments says, honour your father and your mother. And of course, we are to look after our older parents. But by their tradition, he could get away and say, no, I'm not going to do that, don't feel like it, I'll look after myself, and when I die, everything I own will go to God. That was the tradition of these scribes and Pharisees. And that's why Jesus rebuked them sharply, because they weren't following the commandment of God. They were inventing their own traditions in opposition to God's stated command. And he called the people to him and said to them, "Hear and understand. It is not what goes into the mouth that defiles a person, but what comes out of the mouth. This defiles a person." Then the disciples came and said to him, "Do you know that the Pharisees were offended when they heard this saying?" He answered, "Every plant that my heavenly Father has not planted will be rooted up. Let them alone. They are blind guides, and if the blind lead the blind, both will fall into a pit." This is an amazing thing, because the Pharisees were deemed the most religious, the most careful to follow God's laws. And yet Jesus is calling them blind guides. So his disciples must have been amazed at that. But Peter said to him, "Explain the parable to us." He's talking about it's not what goes into the mouth that defiles, it's what comes out. And he said, "Are you also still without understanding? Do you not see that whatever goes into the mouth passes into the stomach and is expelled? But what comes out of the mouth proceeds from the heart. And this defiles a person. For out of the heart come evil thoughts, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, false witness, slander. These are what defile a person. But to eat with unwashed hands does not defile anyone." And Jesus went away from there and withdrew to the district of Tyre and Sidon. Why he wanted to go there we don't know, because that was outside of the region of Israel. He would just meet Gentiles there, Gentiles being non-Jewish or non-Israelite people. But he decided to go there. And behold, a Canaanite woman from that region came out and was crying, "Have mercy on me, O Lord, Son of David. My daughter is severely oppressed by a demon." But he did not answer her a word. And his disciples came and begged him, saying, "Send her away, for she is crying out after us." He answered, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." That's true. Jesus was sent to the Israelites. He wasn't sent to anybody else. His disciples eventually were to go, not just in Jerusalem, but to Samaria and to the uttermost parts of the world. In other words, to the Gentiles. But Jesus himself to Israel. But she came and knelt before him, saying, "Lord, help me." And he answered, "It is not right to take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs." Now that's a harsh thing to say to someone, isn't it? But take a look how she takes it. She said, "Yes, Lord, yet even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table." What humility! Then Jesus answered her, "O woman, great is your faith. Be it done for you as you desire." And her daughter was healed instantly. Jesus went on from there and walked beside the Sea of Galilee. And he went up on the mountain and sat down there. And great crowds came to him, bringing with them the lame, the blind, the crippled, the mute, and many others. And they put them at his feet, and he healed them, so that the crowd wondered when they saw the mute speaking, the crippled healthy, the lame walking, and the blind seeing, and they glorified the God of Israel. Then Jesus called his disciples to him and said, "I have compassion on the crowd, because they have been with me now 3 days, and have nothing to eat. And I am unwilling to send them away hungry, lest they faint on the way." And the disciples said to him, "Where are we to get enough bread in such a desolate place to feed so great a crowd?" And Jesus said to them, "How many loaves do you have?" They said, 7, and a few small fish. And directing the crowd to sit on the ground, he took the 7 loaves and the fish, and having given thanks, he broke them and gave them to the disciples. And the disciples gave them to the crowds, and they all ate and were satisfied. And they took up 7 baskets full of the broken pieces left over. Those who ate were 4,000 men, beside women and children. After sending away the crowds, he got into the boat and went to the region of Magadan. That takes us to the end of Matthew 15. We'll turn over to Proverbs. We're in Proverbs chapter 4 and we're reading from verse 7 through to 9. The beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom, and whatever you get insight. Prize her highly, and she will exalt you. She will honour you if you embrace her. She will place on your head a graceful garland, and she will bestow on you a beautiful crown. It is something beautiful when you see people, often older people, who have real wisdom and real grace about them. Nothing to prove, but when you go to them, you can be sure you're going to get advice that is worth something. And that's the advice, that's the encouragement today to all of us. The beginning of wisdom is to get wisdom and to get insight and prize her. Don't let her go. Well, thank you for joining us again, and we hope to pick up from here again tomorrow.